you go to a dealership today, like right now, to
Yeah.
buy an EV, you are you're almost guaranteed to make a massive financial mistake if you only focus on one number. And that's the sticker price.
Right, yeah. Which is, the most visible number, so
Right.
it naturally dictates the budget for most people.
Obviously.
But in the world of e-mobility, that upfront price tag is actually, it's kind of a complete illusion.
It is. And today we are doing a deep dive into a whole stack of economic analyses, industry reports, and some really fascinating World Bank data.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
There really is. And the goal here is to figure out why the transition to electric vehicles, everything from compact city cars to massive municipal buses, is fundamentally a strategic financial and public health move, rather than just, a purely green initiative.
Exactly. The entire mindset has to shift from looking at just the capital expenditure to understanding the total cost of ownership.
The TCO.
Right, the TCO. You have to evaluate what the machine actually costs to operate over its entire lifespan.
But, that initial sticker shock is real. It's a huge psychological barrier for people. So if an EV costs thousands more up front, how does the math actually work out in the buyer's favor?
Well, upfront cost parity between EVs and combustion engines, it won't actually happen until roughly 2025 to 2030, depending on the market.
Okay.
But EVs win on operational savings right now. And that's because of one golden rule in transport economics, which is that kilometers matter.
Meaning the more you drive, the faster you save.
Yes, exactly. So take a heavy-duty electric transit bus, for example. We're talking about a massive 110 kilowatt-hour battery.
Wow.
Yeah, which is roughly double the size of a standard long-range Tesla, just to give you an idea.
That's huge.
It is. And our sources show that a bus reaches TCO parity with a diesel equivalent at about 60,000 kilometers a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because electricity and electric motor maintenance they're vastly cheaper than diesel fuel and constant engine repairs. So high utilization drives profitability.
Okay, I get how that works for a city bus, running roads all day long. But I'm looking at these new mass market EVs, like the sub 25,000 euro cars.
Right, the new ones hitting the market.
Yeah, like the Dacia Spring or the new Renault 5. I don't drive 60,000 kilometers a year. If I just drive a few miles a week for groceries, am I actually going to lose money compared to just buying a cheap gas car?
You might, if you keep it forever, yeah.
Well, really?
Yeah, for the everyday consumer, the data points to a very specific sweet spot, which is holding the car for about 4 to 6 years.
Why that specific window? Like, why not 10 years?
It's all about timing the asset's life cycle. So at 4 to 6 years, you hold the car long enough to outlast that really steep initial depreciation drop.
Right.
But you sell it while it's still covered by the manufacturer as a battery warranty. So you entirely skip the risk of those massive out-of-warranty repair bills.
Oh, I see. Okay, so if a city bus needs high mileage and a consumer needs a strict, 4 to 6 year window, how are buyers, and especially like municipalities, getting past that initial purchase hurdle to begin with?
Mostly through changing battery chemistry and really creative financing.
Okay, how so?
Well, between 2010 and 2017, battery prices actually plummeted 79%.
79%? That's insane.
Yeah, it's a huge drop. And a big part of that ongoing price drop is the industry shifting to lithium iron phosphate, or LFP batteries.
LFP.
Right? They swap out these rare, really expensive, and frankly volatile metals like cobalt and nickel for just abundant materials like iron.
Which is everywhere.
Exactly. That makes them incredibly stable and just much, much cheaper to produce.
Okay, and on the financing side, like for the buses.
Oh, that's where we're seeing clever models like battery leasing. Park City, Utah is actually a great example of this.
What do they do?
So they used government grants to buy the physical chassis of their Proterra buses. But they actually lease the batteries. So they pay for them over time using their ongoing operational funds.
Wait, that is so smart. It's basically like buying a flashlight, but you just subscribe to the batteries so you never have to worry about the technology degrading?
That is a great way to look at it, actually. Yeah, you shift the burden of the technology degradation back onto the manufacturer.
Right.
So if a bus battery dies in, year 5, it's Proterra's problem to fix.
Not the taxpayers.
Exactly.
So if a city can afford these fleets through clever leasing, it fundamentally changes municipal budgets. But when you apply that same operational savings logic to an entire developing nation, The scale of the financial win just seems massive.
Oh, the macroeconomic impact is staggering. If you look at the World Bank data on countries like Ethiopia and Nepal,
Mhm.
they are heavily investing in EVs. And the reason is because they can power them entirely on indigenous hydropower.
Oh, wow. Meaning they don't have to import fuel at all.
That's the key right there. Instead of, bleeding national wealth to import expensive foreign oil, they just power their transit grids using their own rivers.
That's incredible.
It's a massive boost to national energy security.
It makes total sense on a macro level.
Hmm.
But looking at the street level, eliminating tailpipe emissions obviously changes things too. I mean, we always hear about cutting nitrogen oxides or NOx, but how does that actually impact a neighborhood?
Well, NOx is highly reactive, so when people breathe it in on crowded city streets, it inflames the airways. It significantly reduces lung function, which leads to all sorts of chronic respiratory
Right,
issues.
asthma and things like that.
Exactly. So removing that from dense urban areas, it drastically improves public health almost immediately.
Beyond the emissions, though, the sheer elimination of the noise and the vibration of those diesel engines, how does that change the everyday reality for residents in a, densely packed megacity?
It's huge. We've just kind of accepted this low frequency rumble and the physical vibration of diesel as the background noise of modern life.
Yeah, it's just always there.
Right. Stripping that away doesn't just lower decibels, it physically calms the urban environment. It actually reduces chronic physical stress for millions of people.
Which is a perfect takeaway, honestly. If you're looking at the EV transition, you really have to look way beyond the sticker price. Focus on your total cost of ownership, whether that's, hitting high utilization routes or aiming for that 4 to 6 year ownership window for a consumer car.
Absolutely. And it kind of leaves us with something really interesting to think about for the future.
What's that?
Well, if entire cities eventually electrify and we achieve this sudden, complete absence of combustion engine noise, how might that reshape the future of urban architecture?
Oh, right.
Right. Like, we might design our outdoor social spaces entirely differently when we aren't forced to build these physical walls just to block out the sound of traffic.
That is a wild thought to take with you the next time you're standing on a noisy street corner, just imagining it totally quiet. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.